Well, I happen to be home working from the home office today. God, I miss working from home. And a major scoop, I love calling them scoops, and a major scoop came out of Wizards of the Coast today. Essentially, expeditions are here to stay. Now, they've renamed them Masterpiece, the Masterpiece series, like Masterpiece Theater. However, there's a lot of interesting intricacies of this program, and as someone who's generally very critical of Wizards of the Coast, I have to give credit where credit is due, and I think they have found the perfect way to not only sell more packs, but reduce the cost of standard, and give guys like me that open up packs for a living on YouTube, well, not really a living, but something cool to look forward to opening for all of you guys. So basically, they're going to exist at the same rarity Expeditions did. I expected that. They will be reprints of existing cards with one exception. There will be cards, there'll often be cards from the set included in Masterpiece series, but they will typically exist in the set in a traditional frame in their normal rarity in addition. So what the hell does that mean? Battle for Zendikar Rare dual lands were included in Zendikar Expeditions. Masterpiece series, both in presentation and card selection, will be tied thematically to the world appearing in the block. For instance, all the Kaladesh inventions, which is what the name is, so Kaladesh inventions are actually a part of the Masterpiece series, will be artifact cards presented as Kaladeshi artifacts. The frame will likewise have a special treatment that ties them into the theme of the block, and I have a couple to go over with you and share because I think they're pretty spicy looking. The number of Masterpiece cards may fluctuate, but roughly speaking, they would expect the Masterpiece series to have about 50 cards for an entire block. So the Kaladesh inventions, for example, there's 30 of them. There'll be 24 in Aether Revolt. Large set, small set block will have different Masterpiece cards. All Masterpiece series cards are printed in English, but do appear in non-English product. The expansion symbol for each Masterpiece series will be block specific, but distinct from the set's block. For example, the Masterpiece series in Kaladesh will vary differently will look different than the rest of Kaladesh. All Masterpiece cards will be only printed in foil. The cards are planned for Magic Online, but will not be redeemable, of course. Masterpiece cards will not exist in Magic Duels. And the question you might all be asking, Masterpiece cards can be played in any limited format where they're opened, and in any constructed format in which they are already legal. So this is similar to, of course, the Zendikar Expeditions. So they talked about how it addressed a couple of different challenges, both keeping standard accessible, getting players access to older cards, and providing alternatives for deck building. So different arts, EDH players, for example, love alternative arts. I think they do a great job making standard accessible, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how that works at a high level anyway. Basically, the TLDR is that they saw in the Zendikar block, Return to Zendikar, or Battle for Zendikar block, that packs are open like crazy because people wanted expeditions. It drove down the cost of the cards in that set. We saw something similar with Khans of Tarkir, where people were chasing fetch lands, and it drove down the price of format staples like Siege Rhino at the time to where most people could buy a playset for a very affordable price. Essentially, there's an expected value from any pack that you open. This is getting into a little bit of the more specific technical explanation. If the EV of packs are too high, then it just becomes profitable for people to open packs and sell the cards. So what happens is there's an artificial market here that fluctuates. So if the average value of a box now is $80 or something, these expedition cards, while super rare, will raise the price, the expected value of the box, okay? So as the expected value of the box goes up, it forces down the price of the maximum price the other cards in the set can be. So in a normal set, a box can only contain so much money before it starts to kind of push down back towards the MSRP. And if you want to think of it in numbers, every masterpiece that gets opened is something like 2,100 other cards from that set that have to get opened before someone finds a masterpiece. So as people search for these, they're opening up more cards they might not want, which forces more cards into the market, thus making cards staples like the new Chandra, although I think it will affect rares far more, of course, than mythics. But everyone opens more cards, rares become more available, people's collection exceeds their needs, so they sell more cards. So I think adding expeditions, or basic, it's going to be hard for me to not call them expeditions, but basically they're expeditions to me. But I think in general, it not artificially truly increases the EV of the box, which will sell more booster packs and increase the amount in the market, and hopefully reduce the price of chase rares that are parts of your standard or modern decks. So I think overall, very, very good move by Wizards of the Coast. I think you have to give credit where credit is due, and overall, it's kind of a genius move. I mean, I can't fault them for it. It's a smarter way to handle it than I would have thought about. It's more evil genius. I don't think it. I think it addresses the first task of making standard more affordable, but it's a little disingenuous to say that, you know, you're printing some of these high-priced chase rares to make them more accessible, because really, sure, there's more expeditions out there, more versions of cards that need to get reprinted, but it's not really in enough quantity to make them more accessible. But overall, here's a positive double thumbs up from the beard. I'm very happy the team at Wizards of the Coast decided to do this. I'm a little old manny curmudgeon-y about, you know, new card frames and how that's, you know, get off my lawn. You know, back in my day, we didn't have these things. But I think most of us, when we saw the hype around expeditions, we knew they were going to be here to stay. Now let's talk about 4 that have been spoiled, okay? And let's talk about below what you think of the card frames. First, we have a beautiful Mana Crypt. Okay, this card is going to be muy expensivo. We have a reprint Gauntlet of Power. We have a beautiful looking Hangerback Walker. And we have a Verdurious Gearhulk. The Gearhulk is actually, in its normal frame, has been spoiled in this set as a mythic. And it will also be a masterpiece. So, like we talked about earlier from the article that Wizards posted, these cards will be in standard frame and in masterpiece frame if they're a part of the normal block, okay? So what I want to know from you all is, 1, how do you feel about the masterpiece series? 2, how do you feel about the new card frame? What do you think? And 3, do you think that this will work? Do you think it will make standard more accessible? I think as long as the volume can outpace the growth of the game, it works. It's a good problem to have if the growth of the game explodes, but I think we have enough evidence historically to say that this should make standard more affordable. So overall, 2 thumbs up from me, but that's not important. What I want to hear is from you down in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you again real soon. What's up, and thanks for watching this video. I produce all different kinds of content, so if you haven't yet, click on my face to subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, I've got some sweet playlists, including this one, where I open up every fat pack ever created. I've also got this one over here where I open just about anything vintage and old and expensive for your enjoyment. And all this is made possible by the awesome backers at our Patreon, which is linked in the description of every video. Hop on over there, check it out, see if it's something you might want to consider. If not, sit back, enjoy, and I'll still love you.